So I was thinking the other day, um, I was thinking about this activist thing that was going on where people were going to um, protest about coal mining, and I thought that was really good. And then I realised I have a mini coal burner in my van, and I've never thought about it before. But I burn coal as well as wood in that burner, and the coal comes from coal mines. And here's me on one hand saying I want to be doing things for our planet, and then on the other hand, there's me buying coal. And obviously, like, well, how can I go and take part in a protest against coal if I use coal myself? And that's when it hit me. Like, we are so powerful, we don't actually realize it. The only reason why they are still mining coal, companies are still mining coal, is because we buy it. I'm buying it. I did buy it. I'm not buying it anymore. But because people are buying it, as long as people buy things, then companies will keep producing them. So if we want to make a massive world change, then simply change what it is that we buy. You know, I spent a long time being anarchistic and trying to alter the system. And now I realise that I don't have to be direct in that sort of approach. I don't have to go and protest and burn down whatever. I don't know what I did, but it's actually much more powerful if I just think very carefully about everything that I buy and everything that I use, um, and and don't use anything that is very detrimental to this planet. So minimize use of plastics. I've still been raiding, which is good, because that's food and plastics and just thrown in a landfill, so I'm happy with that. Don't use any coal. Another thing is I drive my van about, and that's shit tons of CO2, diesel gas, this big hunk of metal and built in a factory. Another thing I do here is I use a computer, energy. The process of building this computer was in a factory. It's kind of like, people say a lot about becoming awake, and I think that actually, becoming awake doesn't necessarily mean like becoming spiritually enlightened. Perhaps it just means that you become aware of what it is we're doing to the earth and what part we're actually playing, because, I could have kept on buying coal and not really thought that that coal comes from a coal mine, which destroys forests, destroys landscape, and so I'm directly responsible for that. Because if I don't buy coal, then they don't produce it. And because I buy it, and thousands of other people buy it, they produce it. And yeah, you could say, oh well, it's not going to change anything for me, but it is actually, because gradually, bit by bit, for example, the vegan movement. 10 years ago, you couldn't get vegan food for love nor money, and if you did, it was shit, bloody expensive. But now look at it, you go in Aldi and there's 3 types of almond milk for 99p. It really is changing, and it's continuing to change. It's because people are saying, you know what, I'm actually going to be responsible for my consumption. Because we're in a capitalist society still. But think about it, money is king in capitalist society. Money is what moves it. And we even though we have less money than the 1%, we still have a shit ton of money, and if we don't buy stuff, companies go out of business. So if it's something we don't agree with, don't buy it. But we need to look at everything we're using, like laundry liquid, washing up liquid, you know, all plastics, or it's like going into a supermarket and getting carry bags every time. Don't do it. It's just producing more plastic. Try and buy fruit and veg without plastic packaging on. And the more that you then do that, the more that will sell as opposed to the one we're packaging on, and therefore the more it will move toward no packaging. Honestly, you can make a massive difference just by thinking about the things that you buy and being responsible and thinking, is there a way that I can buy better? Okay, yeah, it may well be a tiny bit more expensive short term, but the irony is that the more people that put that money in now, the cheaper it's going to be later on, as we've seen now, and we can still see with vegan food, organic food, gluten-free, for example. So, yeah, be awakened, as in look at your life, look at the things that you buy, and the things that you condone by spending money on them, and ask yourself, A, do I really need it? And B, is there an alternative, greener way? Because it just takes that sort of thinking from you and from me to change the world. It really does. So thank you.